Here we go. Here's a quick little video on the install of some rear sets. As you can see, they're already on the bike. So I'll just go over a few things. Pretty straightforward. The heel guard, you got a couple bolts that mount it to here. You have the main bolts here that mount it to the base plate, and the base plate mounts to the frame. Under each of these screws, you should be using the round serrated lock washers. As you can see here, they're the round cup serrated. That also doesn't hurt to also use a little Loctite on these, especially on the flathead bolts behind the lever that mount the pegs to these things. Since there is no lock washers underneath there, it's definitely recommended to put some Loctite on those. From vibration of the bike, you don't want to lose these things and find out you don't have a shift lever and trying to get home. These nice and tight. Okay. Now on your pegs, what you want to try to do here is in between the peg and the lever and the peg and the bracket, there's room to put the little shim washers. What that does is you want to take up as much side to side slack, but you still want it to move nice and freely for shifting. So down through the middle, you got a big knot here. You can see that there's a flat here and a flat on the peg where that gets keyed. You can see on this side here, get this off. This is one of the little flat washers I was talking about. I have a couple after the peg and a couple here to take that up, that slack up. And this is another good spot here too to put some Loctite on that as well. And now once again, get that keyed up. That in there and make sure you get that nice and tight. It's a nice, I think it's an M8 in there, so I can handle some decent strength on that. And then same thing, I have a quick shifter mounted in here. On yours, you'll just have a regular rod that you go in here and you can just set up your shift position how you want it. That's pretty straightforward right there on the shift side. Now we can go over and look at the brake side. Okay, basically the same thing on that side. You have your mounting plate to the frame. Same thing here, the washer's underneath here. Foot peg to the lever, same thing. You can see you have your master cylinder bracket that mounts here, then your heel guard that mounts off of this. Now on the back here, the lever is a straight lever where sometimes your stock one's angled that fits in between this clevis. On here you just use a supplied long bolt. You can put a washer or spacers in here to kind of support it if you need. Also with these aftermarket rear sets, which basically everybody else has on the market, it does not retain your stock electrical brake light switch and your spring. So what you do is you run an inline pressure switch up here, just a simple 2-wire that connects right into your other plug, and that just basically works off hydraulic pressure. These are a lot more reliable than your spring and your adjustment that come out of adjustment all the time, and they stay on and stuff like that. So this is a much better setup to do that. These things are like $20. You can basically get those out of any place. And that's about it on these. Pretty straightforward. So install and go riding.